Houston.
Houston had one for a long time.
And Hicks and Greenlee and Pineapple. Did you know Pineapple?
I worked with Pineapple once.
You know what he used to do? He would drive all the way across Houston to ignore me. That's what he did it. He did it all the time too. And he had no reason to be there. And I know a lot that some of those guys didn't like me because I don't know why. I don't know why, but they were really, really cliquish. And I went in there one night and had a horrible set. And I was following Hicks. And you know, and I had a really green show, but in the right circumstance, you know, in a comedy club with nothing great happening before you, it kind of worked a little bit. But that night, it didn't work at all. Yeah. And I was probably getting a little more work than those guys were, some of them. Mm-hmm. And they were like, "Oh, he sucks." Yeah. Well, the fact of the matter is, I did suck because my act went up. You know, you don't want to follow Hicks. I say that to make the story better. I wasn't following Hicks, but he was, you know, or Kennison, but they were both there. Oh, okay. And had done set, but everybody was good. I mean, Greenlee was good. All these guys were seasoned pros. That was a hot lineup, and. But I never felt, you know, like any of them liked me except for Hicks, and I came to see him, you know, do shows, and I asked him to do the story about just John Davidson and the mask, and he goes, here's what he says. He goes, "Don't stand next to the exits, just a tip." Because people just walk out of the show when he does
I watched him do that. He did that at the Nick's Comedy Stop in Boston, and he cleared the fucking room, man. And it was crazy because at the end of the show, there was me and Greg Fitzsimmons and maybe 3 or 4 other comics and 5 or 6 people in the crowd. There was like maybe 20 people left, all told, laughing our fucking asses off.
Right.
Everybody else is getting up angry.
I saw it go both ways. You know, I've seen him beat crowds to death. I saw a set one night at the Laugh Stop in Austin, and nobody in the room could breathe, and he was in the mood to do it. And you know, and I think sometimes he was, and sometimes he wasn't, or whatever. But he was in the mood and decided to just fucking stab us all in the face, and it was beautiful.
He was exceptional. You know, whether or not people think he was one of the greats, like that's entirely subjectional, right? It's subjective, rather. It's completely up to your own interpretation. But to me, he changed comedy in a lot of ways because he made people talk about things that were important. Because everybody else is talking about nonsense. You're talking about airline food and how come I can't lean my seat back.
Yeah, right.
Standard normal shit. I'm falling and I can't get up.
Exactly right.
And he was coming along talking about positive drug stories. You know, a man on acid realized that all matter is energy condensed to a slow rhythmic vibration. Like that whole fucking bit was amazing.
Here's Tom with the weather.
Yeah, that bit was amazing.
Yeah. No. It was. And he was influential. I mean, I think. I can say this about Bill Hicks, and I am an expert at stand-up comedy. I would have a triple doctorate in if you gave those kinds of things for the work the amount of time I've put into
100%.
it. And you as a peer would have the exact same thing. So for me to listen to someone's opinion about stand-up comedy, they have to have a lot of cred to me before I really give a shit what they think. Okay? Yeah. So here's what you should think. The only thing that every comic from my generation agrees on is he was better than us. And that's the only thing that they agree on. And I can't find anybody that has a big argument that he wasn't. Now, was he the best that ever lived? No, but did he influence me more than anybody else, and you probably more than anybody else, because you're certainly that way also, you know, right? Somebody built that bridge.
Yes.
And now you feel free to talk about anything. You know, none of your act is ever hack. You know, there were a lot of hacks, but I think Hicks freed people not to be a hack, you know? Yeah,
he cured people of that. He made it shameful. You know, you're talking about hack, but there was also,
and then you cured him of stealing material. So
I don't know if I did.
I think
it's still going on.